Hi, good morning. So today is June 8th, 2025. My name is Rinaldo Aguiar, and I'm recording this video from Katy, Texas, 77494. I'm, trying different tools and things to try to make this series of videos better. So I'm trying to make them as good as I can. So yeah, I'm testing a series of tools today. So because of that, I'm not going to make this video so much about the situation itself, the evolving situation, but I'm going to make it more about a technical topic because this is a test video. And also, to be honest, I feel kind of bad that in this process, they're burning so many agents. By burning, I mean these agents are getting recorded committing crimes with these 4K resolution cameras, recorded with the GPS, the spectrometer. This is a lot of evidence, right? And I guess, what I foresee could happen is that, when this inevitably goes to trial, these people are going to suffer legal consequences, right? And yes, they're committing crimes, but at the same time, I feel bad. This criminal organization, right, is pushing them in this direction, knowing that they're going to get in trouble, and they don't tell them, right, that they're going to get in trouble. I mean, some of them, most of them. Some of them do know, of course, as I mentioned yesterday, but some of them are completely ignorant of their situation, right? Because of that, and the second reason I'm making this video is because I figure I've taken so many steps that could lead to investigative agencies to start following me and what's happening. For example, I've sent multiple Form 211s to the IRS. I sent complaints to the SEC, to the Securities and Exchange Division Commission. I sent multiple letters to the FBI, to the DEA. I think it's inevitable, right? That at some point, investigative agencies will start following me or tracking my communications or tapping my phones, which I'm okay with. I have no problem with that. If that happens, right? If they have a similar technology of what I'm going to describe in this video, they could be made. So I figure, this video will serve two purposes, right? One, alert the agents, or maybe even deter the network from keep using this piece of technology because it exposes the agents badly. And also, if law enforcement, the real law enforcement of the free world, starts following me, they don't make this mistake that they've been making for over a year, for years, really. So this is the thing, right? And this video is called "Why Unregistered Foreign Agents Should Not Use Earpieces." Most of the foreign agents are on foot, or the dog walkers, those people, they always have an earpiece on at least one of the ears. Specifically, there are sends them cues like increase your speed, decrease your speed, turn right. It gives them auditive directions so they can basically follow instructions without having to look at their phone, right? But I guess the idea is, right, if somebody gets suspicious, right, they will say, well, I wasn't even looking at my phone. Like, how could I be tracking you with my phone if I'm not even looking? Or how can I be tracking you if I'm just listening to music, minding my own business? So it gives the whole thing a more subtle tone. But the problem, of course, it has multiple problems, right? But the most obvious problem is that now, all these people are using earpieces following the target, right? And the target might become aware, which is what happened in my case, right? Like, this was one of the very, very early signals that I saw many years ago, right? I started noticing that the number of people wearing these specifically similar earpieces were following me or intercepting me at corners where I was running. And this didn't happen before in any of the years that I was running before. So it was like a sudden increase of the numbers and the proportions. But that's the less problematic issue with earpieces. The problem is the following. I don't know if readers would recall around late March 2025, right, when the Great Wolf Lodge incident happened, right, when Gloria took the kids to the Great Wolf Lodge. So for people not following the thing, what happened was, Gloria was planning a spring break getaway with the kids. I said, okay, and I paid for the trip, and she picked the hotel and everything. So the day they were leaving, I asked her, like, where are you staying, just so I know. And so she wrote down the address in a piece of paper. When I go and check, the address is marked in Elon Musk's GeoIndex with a paramilitary score in the millions, right? It's a major operational hub of the criminal network. This particular resort or hotel chain, I don't know what it exactly is, it's called the Great Wolf Lodge. And this particular location is the one in Webster, Texas. It's marked in the index. You can look it up in spyhell.org, and you will see it has the buffer zones, the protections against it has all the features that identifies the paramilitary location of this criminal organization. So of course I tried to get her to change the hotel. I said, I'll pay for a new one. Let me pick a new hotel. But she refused and she took them there. Well, anyhow, when they came back, a plastic ball that was gifted by the Greifswald Lodge to Marcelo, my son, appeared in the background of my house at 2302 Britton Ridge Drive, Katy, Texas, 77494. That same evening they came back. This has been extensively documented before as well. They have a technique where they place plastic balls or tennis balls in the backyard of the target, and they've done this for years with me. And these are used as markers, right, as coordination points. The idea being, right, if you have an object that it's a bright object, maybe it even has electronics or radio frequency capable devices inside. Even if it doesn't have any equipment in it, just the presence of the ball in the backyard is important, because if you have this reflective object with a bright color in the backyard, you can pinpoint its exact location with a GPS. By triangulation, you can pinpoint the location with exact precision of any object in that backyard. A person, a dog, an object, because you know the location of the ball, the exact location. Imagine the ball transmits its GPS location in short range, right? Precise GPS location. Well, now you have the GPS location of a point, and you can observe that point from a drone or from above or from a satellite. With those two data points, any other object in that backyard, you can triangulate. It's kind of an anchor. That's what it does. So the same thing happens with this little number over here with the earpiece. The problem with the earpiece for the unregistered agents and why they get caught so easily, when they repeatedly intercept me, right, is because there's CAD designs of this thing for any model that you can think of on the internet. And this thing has very important properties. If you think of an anchor, I should have made a black background or something, but it's difficult to see because it's white. But for example, the angle that it's in this column of the device is well known. The size, the dimensions, the width, the height, the depth, right? It's all well known. When you insert this thing into your ear canal, it also pinpoints the center of your ear canal. So now, my system, looking at this object at a distance, can do many things. One can pinpoint the exact location relative to the rest of your face of your ear canal, which is an important feature. Nobody can move the location of their ear canal. And knowing where the ear canal is and the distance from the ear canal to, for example, the corner of the eye, the ear canal to the corner of the nostril, the ear canal to the corner of the mouth, the ear canal to the corner of the chin. All these distances combined, right? It's unlikely that a single person will have the same distances, right? To all these key places in the face that will never change, right? At least not very easily. So if you take a fingerprint, and I'm talking a bit more on a technical term, right? If you take a fingerprint of those distances, that fingerprint identifies the individual pretty much. And the ear canal location relative to the face, to the rest of the cranium, is a very, very important feature. It's a very unique feature. And it's kind of the center of everything, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is that because I know, or the system knows, the dimension of this device and the dimension of the column and the depth and everything, if the camera looks at this object at a distance, say 30 feet, right, which is the maximum distance that they can intercept me, looking at how many pixels this takes in the image, right? One can extrapolate and infer the distance that the object is from the camera. So it's an amazing anchor, and it leads to not only facial recognition and co-clustering very, very easily with a tremendous precision, but it also allows to pinpoint, this is crazy, it also allows to pinpoint the distance from the cameras to the target, right? So to the unregistered foreign agent committing crimes, and also to any other things next to the agent. Because by the same technique of extrapolating distances, you could infer with very, very simple math. It doesn't take a lot of computing power to do this. You can infer the location and the depth of basically any other object. So this mistake over here, fundamental for catching the bad guys. Now, the other side, they've been doing this for hundreds of years, I think. Like I was reading at some point, when I discovered that they were listening through the windows, like they have I don't know what it's called, but it's a listening device. It's a listening device that functions by a specific laser to a window, right? And then when it gets reflected, it has another device that catches the reflection. And when the window vibrates, because people are speaking or talking, it demodulates the vibration on the laser on the other end, on the receiver, right? So it's a microphone basically using a laser that basically allows you to listen to conversations that are happening close to a window at hundreds of feet of distance, right? Just relying on the vibration of the window. And this device was invented, not surprisingly, by a Russian more than 100 years ago, right? I think it was 1918 or something like that, before many major events in the last century. So, that tells you they've been doing this for a long time. So I imagine they know about this anchoring mechanism. And I have more reasons to believe that because they're doing the anchoring thing with the backyards, right? I've experienced that myself. So if they're doing it with the backyard, it's difficult to think that they wouldn't extrapolate that concept and with the facial features, right? So they probably know about this, what I'm trying to say. For law enforcement agencies of the free world, if they ever see this video, don't wear earpieces. That's the best advice I can offer. Thank you so much, and I'm going to process the video to see what comes out of it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.